Hi, good to see you again. Welcome to Block 2, Solving Problems with Multiplication and Division, Lesson 15. I'll share my screen. So, in your previous lesson, you learned how to solve lots of problems using your knowledge of how to find the area of a trapezium. In today's lesson, you're going to learn how to solve different problems using the mean. Now, in previous lessons, you would have learned, and you can refer to other videos we have produced, you would have learned about median, where you have to arrange the numbers in order of size, and then you find the middle number. If you arrange the numbers in order of size and you find that there are two numbers that are in the middle, then you're going to have to add those numbers and divide by 2. You also learned the range. The range is you subtract the smallest from the largest number. And you also learned the mode. Mode means you look for the number that is the most common. So before we start, I would like you to like the video, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button. Share the video. By all means, there must be children out there who would benefit from learning using the videos. Click on the notification bell so that when new videos are produced, you will be notified. By doing this, you'll help us grow our mission, which is to provide a platform where any child, regardless of their economic circumstance, can have high quality maths education. Thank you. Assuming you have already done that, before we start, I would like you to answer the retrieval practice questions in 3 minutes. All right, assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the retrieval practice questions, here are the answers. For the first one, 34 divided by 5, you're asked to use a calculator or otherwise. So you could have used a calculator to do this really quickly, and these would be your answers. Next, you're asked to work out the missing number. So a number divided by 6 would give you 27. So you could use inverse operation to do this. So if you were to draw a function machine, which you should know how to do, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go refer to our previous lessons. I think that lesson should be in term 1, I think block 1, where we talked about using function machines. So the inverse operation would be to multiply 27 by 6, and then you would get 162. Next, you ask 3 numbers have a sum of 40. 2 of the numbers are 4 and 5. What is the third number? For things like this, you arrange them like this. So the 3 numbers have a sum of 40. So you write them out. This is missing. So again, we can do inverse operation. Those 2 will be 9. 4 add 5 will be 9. So to get what that number is, you will do 40 subtract 9. And that will be 31. Okay, let's do a new learning for this lesson. So remember, the title of our lesson is, applying, our knowledge of knowing how to find the mean of numbers, and then using our multiplication and division knowledge to learn an additional concept, which is to know how to find the mean. So here, Ron, and we have Ron, we have Eva, and we have Whitney. So if we were to put their numbers together and we start to split things up, share it among them, you'll see that we've given them equal amounts. The mean number of cubes is 6. Now, initially, this is what they had. But when we do the mean, the idea is to give them equal amounts. So the mean number of cubes is 6. Okay, calculate the mean of this set of data. How do we do that? We add them up and we divide by how many they are. In this case, there are 10 items or 10 numbers in the list. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And that is similar to what we did in this example. So we added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we added the number of cubes that Ron had, which is 4. We added the number of cubes that Eva had, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We added the number of cubes that Whitney had, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when we added everything, we divided by 3 because the idea is to share it equally amongst them. And that is what we've done here. So 71 divided by 10 is 7.1. So the mean of the data is 7.1. Or £7.10. So it's important you write your answer in the format that you were given. So here we were given in currency. So we have to write, when you write currency, the decimal has to be in the decimal amount must be in 2 decimal places. All right, so far you have learned how to find the mean. So you add the numbers and you divide that number by how many number of data you have in your number set. So here are questions 1 and 2. Pause the video and answer questions 1 and 2 in 2 minutes. All right, assuming you've paused the video and you've answered questions 1 and 2, here are the answers. So here you will simply ask, what is the mean number of cubes? You count the cubes, you add them, and you divide by 3 because we have 3, okay, 3 items on the list. So this could just be individual numbers. You have 8 cubes. Here you are asked to find the mean of the set of numbers. So you add them up and you divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 numbers on the list. So you add these up and you divide by 7. There are 7 numbers on the list also. No, sorry, 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you add them up and you divide by 8. Okay. Pause the video and answer questions 3 and 4 in just a minute. Pause the video and answer questions 3 and 4 in 3 minutes. It could take shorter. I should be able to do it in 2 minutes. All right, assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. So here, you're required to find the mean weight of the parcels. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you add these all up and you divide by 6. And that will give you 5.4. Here you ask to find the mean attendance of the last 4 football matches. The last 4 football matches. So the mean attendance will be to add these numbers and you divide by 4 because you have 4 items, 4 numbers in the set. Okay. What do you think the units are for attendance? Well, for attendance, we don't have units. So we're going to just write the number exactly the way it is. Okay. All right. We come to another example. Sometimes you would be given data, you're told what the mean is, but one of the numbers would be missing. Okay. So you'll be required to work out the number that is missing in the data set. So in this case, we have all these numbers, but one of the numbers is missing, but we're told the mean. Now, what this means is that if we were to use a block diagram or a bar model to represent this, if you remember our very first example when we had those blocks, sharing the blocks equally among all the individuals made sure that each of the individuals had the same amount. That's what the mean does. So in this case, it means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we had 5 blocks and we're being told that the mean of the data is 3.4, it means each of these boxes should have 3.4. So it means whatever this is divided by 5 is 3.4. Now, here is what we have so far. Okay, here is what we have. This is the actual data we're given. Now remember, to find the mean, we have to add these all up and we have to divide by 5. Okay, so actually, this is what we should have. So if we were to add these all up, we'll add them all up, plus x is equal to 17. Why? We've done the inverse operation. We've done the inverse operation of what we would normally get. Okay, so we know that if we have 5 sets of data and each of the boxes is 3.4, it means the whole lot has to be 3.4 times, okay, 3.4 times 5, which is 17. Now we do 17 minus 14.8 to give us x. Now, that is one way of thinking about it. Another way of thinking about it is we could have done all these to say, well, if we add these, we're going to have to divide by 5. So let me write it here. So if we have 2.1 plus 4.2 plus 3.8 plus 4.7 plus x divided by 5 is equal to 3.4. That's what the mean means, yeah? That's how we work out the mean. So what you need to realize is the inverse operation of dividing by 5, because we don't want this to be here. We just want to be able to have all the numbers written out. So it's now going to be, so if we were to write it out, this could have been written as 14.8, which is all of these added together, plus x, which we don't know, divided by 5 is equal to 3.4. All right. So the inverse operation of dividing by 5 is to times by 5. So 14.8 plus x will be equal to 3.4 times 5. So this is another way of understanding it apart from the way I have explained it here. So understand that the mean is to share equal amounts in the data. So it means if you have 3.4 in each of the 5 boxes, the whole lot, it has to be 17, because 3.4 plus 3.4 plus 3.4 plus 3.4 is equal to 17. But when you look at the bar model, this is equal to that. So it means adding all these up should be equal to 17. And then you find x. So whichever method you want to use, it is up to you to choose which method you want to use. Here is another one. Find the missing number in the set of data. We're told that the mean is 7. So again, here he says 6 plus 8 plus 3 plus 2 plus 11 is equal to 30. There are 6 cards. So 30 divided by 6 is equal to 5. The missing number is 5. Well, that is, what do you think? Do you think that's right? Okay, here is the mistake Alex has made. Okay, so the mistake Alex has made is that there is a number missing, and all those numbers, yes, although it adds to 30, but 30 plus another number would give us the actual number that we need. So it's not 5. Okay, So thinking about what we learned before, we know that 30 plus something we don't know divided by, we have 6 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is equal to 7. Okay? So another way of thinking about it is, if the mean is 7, it means each of these cards, we want to give them, the mean gives them an equal number of cards, which is 7. So 6 lots of 7 has to be 42. So really, you should have 30 plus something you don't know is equal to 42. So this that you don't know, you do the inverse operation, is 40 minus 30, which is 12. Okay, so it's important you understand this, that your mean splits data into equal amounts in each blocks. So that should be able to give you what the actual total should be if you knew the missing number. And then you can use inverse operation to find out that missing number. All right, pause the video and answer the rest of the questions. So pause the video and answer questions 5 and 6 in 3 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video, here are the answers. So here you ask, Philip, Esther, Scott, and Danny all have some cubes. Philip has 4 cubes. Esther has 9 cubes. Scott has 5 cubes. The mean number of cubes is 5. How many cubes does Danny have? Okay, so we have 4 people, right? So it means if we divide by 4, we're going to get 5 each, right? So if we divide by 4, we're going to get 5 each. So 4 plus 9 plus 5. We don't know what Danny has. Okay. Divided by 4 gives us 5. So we know the actual total number, if we were to add all of them up, has to be 20. But we don't know one of the numbers. Okay, because dividing by 4, which is the number of people, for them to get equal amount of 5, which is the mean, okay, means that all the total numbers will be 20. So 4 add 9 add 5 should be 18. Yeah, so 18 add something we don't know will be 20. So if we do the inverse operation, it will be 20 minus 18, which is 2. This one, we're told find the missing numbers in each of the sets. Write your answer on the blank card. So the answer should be 1. Why? If the mean is 3 and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, it means to be able to have 3 in each of these cards, the actual total should be 12, because 4 times 3 is 12. So we have 4 add 2, which is 6, add 5 is 11. So 1 has to be the number missing to make it 12. And then we use the same approach here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if each of the cards has to have 3.7, which is what the mean actually means, to get the actual total will be 3.7 times 5. Then once you get that number, you add these up and subtract it from this number here, you get 3.3. Pause the video and answer question 7 in 3 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered question 7, here are the answers. So here you asked to work out the mean temperature for the first 5 days. So you add these all up and you divide by 5. And then you're told on the next day, the temperature at noon is 15 degrees. Predict whether the mean for all 6 days will be higher or lower than your answer for part A. It will decrease. Why? Because the temperature has decreased. Okay. So explain your prediction. Work out the mean average for the first days. Okay. The mean average will be that. So how do you know? Well, adding 15 does not significantly increase the number that you had that you divided by 5 to get this number. So you know that the mean would decrease. Okay? It just increased. So if you take a look, it just increased by 1 degree compared to what you had before. But now you're dividing by a higher number, which is 6. So obviously you have a decrease. Pause the video and answer questions 8 and 9 in 3 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered questions 8 and 9, here are the answers. So here you ask the mean number of visitors to the zoo per week for the first 5 weeks of summer is that. In the 8th week, 4,000 visitors go to the zoo. Okay. Will the mean increase or decrease? Of course, it will increase because you can see that here it says the mean number of visitors to the zoo per week for the first 5 weeks of summer is that. So just this number itself for the 6th week would cause a significant increase in the total, which you're going to divide by 6. So it's going to increase. And then write a set of 5 numbers with a mean of 12. So you can just pick any numbers and write them to find that will give you the mean of 12. So for this one, so for this one. Pause the video and answer question 10 in 3 minutes. All right, assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. So here, first you ask to use the table to write a list of all the children's ages. Now, this is really interesting because this question is preparing you for year 8 and year 9. It's quite cool, really cool. Now, watch this. Frequency means how many people actually were age 11. So frequency means how many. So this means there are 2 people that were 12 years old. This means there were 3 people that were 13 years old. And this means there were 4 people that were 14 years old. That's what frequency means, how many they are. So when you actually list them out, it's going to be 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 13, 14, 14, 14, 14. So I want you to take note of this. Your understanding of this will really help you understand when we start doing frequency table, because there's something special we could have done instead of just listing it out like this when we want to calculate the mean. But now we've already listed it out. So what we can do is we can add these up and divide by, okay, I think we have all together here 10. Divide by 10 and that will give us 13. That brings us to the end of our lesson. So what have we learned so far? So you have learned that to calculate the mean, you simply add the numbers and then you divide by how many there are. So if you have 10 numbers in the data, you add all the 10 numbers and then you divide by 10. If you have 7 numbers in the data, you add all the numbers and you divide by 7. Now, you extended your learning to also know that sometimes you could be given a question where one of the numbers is missing. So you need to understand that, okay, if one of the numbers is missing, what the mean actually does is to give each of those numbers, if they were placed in a box, to give equal amounts. So if they're giving equal amounts, for example, if you're giving 5 numbers, 5 sets of numbers, but you only know 4, and then you're told the mean is 5, it means, okay, if each of those 5 boxes are going to have 5 each, it means my actual total should be 25, which is 5 times 5. So to get that missing number, you have to add the other numbers up that you know and subtract it from the actual total that you've worked out. And then that gives you your missing number. So really well done for sticking around and for learning this topic, which could be a bit challenging for some students. But you have stuck around and you've learned really well. Until next time, take really good care of yourself, and bye-bye.